activity, we can't stress enough about exercise and eating a healthy diet. And I know the nutritionist is coming in a little while, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the healthy things you can do to protect your heart. Smoking. If you smoke, we recommend not smoking. We really say that's one of the main contributors to heart disease. So if you smoke, if somebody that you love smokes, encourage them to get support to help them quit. That will help protect their heart. Alcohol use. Also, if you know anybody who is drinking, reducing alcohol use is really important. Getting a good night's sleep and stress reduction. Those are things that I know everybody in here. How many of you are parents in here? How many of you can say you're stress-free? How many of you take care of yourself and do something for yourself every single day to help reduce your stress?
We try.
We try. And I would challenge you to take 10 minutes to do something for yourself to reduce your stress levels every single day. And that's super hard. We always put other people first, but stress increases what's called cortisol. And cortisol levels over time can actually damage our heart. It's a stress hormone. It's in response to anything that's stressful, whether it's physical stress on our bodies, emotional stress, the stress of having to get kids to school every day, try to get dinner cooked, get everything all ready for everybody else and not really taking care of ourselves. That can be stress, and that can be damaging to our hearts. So take 10 minutes to do something for yourself, even if it means something that I like to do. After I take my kids to school, I will sit in my car for 10 minutes, either turn the radio on and listen to my favorite song or listen to an audiobook. And that 10 minutes gives me that little re-energy that I need to go back out and give me what I need for the rest of the day. And exercise. Go out for a little bit of a walk. I know it's cold, but that's going to do two things. It helps reduce your cortisol levels, and it gives you that exercise you need for a healthy heart. So I'm going to talk a little bit about cholesterol. How many in here know their cholesterol levels? I see a couple hands. Now, what was that?
I have to.
You have to?
Yeah, fat liver.
Thanks for stress.
I have fat liver.
Oh, okay. Which is that? So you know your cholesterol level, and really everybody should know what their cholesterol levels are sitting at. We want under 200, but not all cholesterol is bad. And we actually have something called high-density lipoprotein. So when you're looking at your cholesterol levels, hopefully you leave here and make a doctor's appointment and say, I need my physical and I need my cholesterol checked so I know where my baseline is. And you want that high-density lipoprotein. That's your happy cholesterol level. That is the stuff that's going to protect your heart and clean those arteries and those vessels out. It actually protects your heart. HDLs, we want above 50. That's our goal. That is considered cardioprotective or protective for your heart. Now, the bad things I'm going to get into a little bit, the low-density lipoproteins, LDLs, we want those low. So L, low, we really want to aim low because those are lousy. Those are the things that cause your arteries to get blocked and decreases blood flow to your heart and your body. So LDLs, there's some things we can do to help control our LDL levels, and there's some things that we just can't help. So when I mentioned control what you can, reducing fats in our diet, the saturated and trans fats, and I know the nutritionist is coming later to talk more about healthy diets, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but those things are actually the things that cause your LDLs to go up. Smoking. Again, smoking can cause your cholesterol levels, the bad cholesterol, to go up. Lack of physical activity. We have some things we can't control, our genetics. Sometimes you're just born with the genes to have a predisposition to have high LDLs or high cholesterol. So we can't help that. But we can help if we're exercising, what we put in our mouths, how much stress we are trying to reduce. But age, typically as you get older, it's natural for our LDLs to go up. And then there's the chronic health conditions like liver disease, kidney disease, diabetes that we cannot control all the time. Type 2, maybe with diet modification, that can cause unhealthy LDL levels. Okay. Now our HDLs, remember, happy, we want those to increase. And I've seen people who've had HDLs in the 20s change their diet, start walking, and change their lifestyle and wind up having higher HDL. So we want that HDL level to go up. And these are things that we can do. We can manage our blood pressure. I can't put smoking on here enough. We want to quit smoking. If you do smoke, that will help increase your HDLs. Maintaining a healthy weight, diet, exercise, and blood sugar. Sugar that's not used turns to fat in our body, and eventually that can cause those arteries to get clogged. So we want to keep our diets low in carbohydrates and sugars. Any questions so far on cholesterol? I promise we're going to get to the fun stuff. So again, I'm going to say exercise, exercise, exercise. Start small. If you don't exercise, even start with 5 minutes. Park further away from the entrance. Do small little things because they add up. And we know 150 minutes every week can help protect your heart. So even if you only have 5 minutes or 10 minutes, if you do that several times a day, that adds up to that 30 minutes every day, 5 times a week. And there you go with the 150 minutes of exercise. So it doesn't have to be all at once. We can do it in pockets when we have time. So we are going to give you a chance to get your blood pressure checked. Our target blood pressure is 120/80 or less. How many of you have had their blood pressure checked in the past year? I see a couple. Okay, good. So you'll have an opportunity to get it screened by our lovely friends here. They're going to check your blood pressure. You'll know what your baseline is. We should check a couple blood pressures and get like 2. But there's actually guidance on that document that you're going to be able to take with you that tells you if you're at risk for heart disease, if your blood pressure is abnormal, if you should seek medical attention. And sometimes we do see some blood pressures that are dangerously high. So if we see that, we might say that if your blood pressure is really, really high, it might be that we won't let you leave until we know that you're safe. So hopefully we don't have to do that, but it's okay. We want to know where we're starting from. All of those hands that didn't raise, if you don't know what your baseline or normal blood pressure is, this could be the start. And you can go to even CVS or Walgreens, and they have those machines. You can check your own blood pressure and kind of have a guide on what's normal and what's not. But also at your annual physical, that will give you a picture of what your normal or your baseline levels are. There are some things that we can do to reduce our risks for high blood pressure, but there are some other risk factors that we cannot control. Knowing that we have those risk factors is the first step. If your mother or your father or your grandparents have heart disease, have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, then we know we're at a higher risk for those things. But there are some things that we can manage with healthy habits. So hopefully you'll leave here today and you'll hear my voice say, oh, maybe just 10 minutes for myself, okay? My clicker is very, very sleepy today. So our risk factors for hypertension, again, family history. It's natural as we age for blood pressures to start going a little higher. Gender. Typically, we see males starting off with higher blood pressures, but as females age, once they hit 65, it's not uncommon for females after 65 to start having elevated blood pressures too. Race, chronic kidney disease, and diabetes go hand in hand with heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, lack of physical activity, diets high in sodium, fats, sugar, that can contribute to hypertension or high blood pressure. Alcohol. How many of you know what sleep apnea is?
Yeah, do it.
And
I do it for my daughter.
you know what sleep apnea?
No, I do it for my daughter because don't breathe in the night.
They wear a mask. Do they wear a mask? Yeah. If you have sleep apnea, if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, then hopefully you have a CPAP machine, because sleep apnea can cause heart problems over time. My dad had a stroke a year and a half ago, and I was watching him in the hospital after his stroke, and he was having sleep apnea. And I asked my mom, how long has he been holding his breath like that? And she's like, oh, he always does. If we would have known that, we could have gotten him on a CPAP machine and gotten a sleep study, and maybe he wouldn't have had that stroke. There are other factors that can contribute to heart disease, but that's a big thing that we don't even think about, the relationship between our heart and us breathing. Because what do we do when we're holding our breath? If you have sleep apnea, and then the oxygen is not flowing, and that can actually affect the blood flow to the heart and the oxygenation of your heart. Okay. Being overweight, so having a healthy weight, and again, diet, exercise, decreasing alcohol use, and quitting smoking if you smoke. So I said I was going to talk about stroke, and I just shared that my dad had one. Thankfully, he's alive, he's doing well. You would never know it, because they recognized the signs and symptoms very quickly, and he got to the hospital and got the medication and treatment he needed. He's back to driving and doing everything that he did before, but knowing that he has a risk factor. There are many things that can cause risks for stroke. Again, it's considered a heart disease. It can cause, so what happens is your heart throws a clot to your brain, and you have decreased amount of blood flow to your brain. So recognizing the signs and symptoms of stroke is something that is so important for those people who are experiencing a stroke. And we use the acronym Be Fast. So if you see somebody who is having issues with their balance, usually somebody experiencing a stroke has one-sided weakness where they can't stand up straight. So they may be leaning to one side. So if they have balance issues or they can't even stand up, that could be a sign of a stroke. Eyesight, so blurred vision, trouble seeing. If somebody is saying, oh, I'm seeing spots, or I'm having a hard time seeing right now, think stroke. Face, we say facial drooping or one-sided weakness, so you may see them having drooping on one side of the face or the eyes, and you say, smile for me, and they smile and one side goes up, but the other one just stays the same. That's a big sign that we see very commonly with stroke. A is for arm strength. Arms. So I would say, can you squeeze my hands? And they go to squeeze your hand, and one is squeezing and the other side just doesn't seem to be squeezing, and they think they're squeezing both sides. But one side is not squeezing as hard. They think they're doing it because they don't have that strength. The other thing with arms is you can say, put your hands out. And usually you ask them to do this, and one arm might drag. So that arm drag, where they think they're raising both arms equal, but they just can't get one arm up. That's a big indicator of stroke. And S is for speech, slurred speech. Also nonsensical speech, or if they just don't make sense. They're talking about something that doesn't make sense, and they think they're making sense, and you ask them questions and they just can't answer it in a good way. So that's something that is a really common thing for them to not be able to speak in clear sentences. Okay. The other thing is T for time. Time is of the essence. It's time to call 911. If you see any of these signs or symptoms, when you call 911, call them and say, I think they're having a stroke. I see X, Y, and Z symptoms. Because they have only a couple hours to get them to the hospital, get that medication that they need. And if you get them to the hospital, you could have a really good outcome for that person. They could decrease the risk for death or for some of the severe symptoms that occur after a stroke. So that's where time is of the essence. If you see one or more of these, always think stroke and get that person to the hospital right away and tell them you think they're having a stroke. When my mom got my dad to the hospital, she pushed my dad up and I got there right at the same time, and they were going to have him go sit in the waiting room. My mom drove him to the hospital, got there and thought, oh, good, I'm here. And I said, no, he's having a stroke. And they had a clear triage and they took him right back once they heard that word stroke. So that can really make a difference. And I can tell you a huge difference in whether somebody survives a stroke and whether they can function after a stroke. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about heart attack symptoms. We commonly see and think heart attack, we think that crushing pain in the chest or like jaw pain. Lightheadedness, we kind of think they get pale, sweaty. Those are the symptoms that are more common. Jaw pain, discomfort in the pain or shoulder. So usually it's on the side and it radiates up to the shoulder. Or shortness of breath. That's another sign of a heart attack. But for women die more often from cardiac arrest than men. Women die more often from heart attacks than men. Does anybody know why?
Stress.
What?
Stress.
Stress? Stress can contribute to the risks, right? Right? Yeah.
They don't recognize the symptoms.
They don't recognize the symptoms. Women's symptoms are so not typical. Women typically don't have that crushing chest pain. Women usually get, oh, my stomach doesn't feel well. I feel like I have reflux. Acid reflux is a big complaint for women when they're experiencing a heart attack. And we wouldn't think, oh, it's their heart. We would say, oh, just take some Tums. And that's usually what women do. They just take a Tums and say, okay, I'm going to feel better soon. They ignore that sign. Those atypical symptoms. They also may faint or become very lightheaded. That's another thing that's different than those typical signs. But a lot of times the pain is not right here in the chest. It might be that they're having back pain or stomach pains. And those are not the signs that we would think, oh, I might be having a heart attack. Or, oh, my mom might be having a heart attack. Because we're like, oh, just take a Tums. And a lot of times we're just like trying to treat ourselves, right? We don't always say, oh, I want somebody to help me right now because I think I'm having a heart attack. You wouldn't even think that. So it's really one thing that's significant with our signs and symptoms of women versus men. The other thing is that saving a woman versus a man, sometimes people are hesitant in doing cardiac or doing something when somebody's in cardiac arrest. So women are more likely to die of cardiac arrest because people are afraid to take their shirts off, cut their bras off, and do something. If somebody's in cardiac arrest and you don't do something, they will die. So they won't even know if you remove their shirt and you have to do CPR for them. Do that for women. Don't be afraid to do it. And sometimes people will hesitate to do that when they're thinking about saving a life. But that person who is not breathing, who is not responsive, won't even know. And you may have saved their life just by being willing to do those things. And I'm going to get to that. But really quickly, we always think, oh, they had a heart attack and died. Like that's kind of what, growing up, I used to think, oh, well, that's the same thing. They're actually very different. A heart attack is more of a structural thing that causes, like from the blockage of the blood flow, from high cholesterol and things like that. It's more of a structural or a circulation issue. Heart attacks are more where the blood can't flow effectively. It doesn't always cause your heart to stop. It doesn't always cause death. It's really important to recognize the signs and symptoms early and get help when you need it. But cardiac arrest is really where we have to do something right now, right then, every second counts. And cardiac arrest is more of an electrical problem where the heart is not pumping. It might be doing something really abnormal. So our goal with saving somebody for cardiac arrest is to get that heart pumping so it can push blood back through the body. We want it to do this. So cardiac arrest, again, is an abnormal beat. And sometimes heart attacks can cause cardiac arrest. not all the time, but there's a lot of other things that can cause cardiac arrest. And that is something we need to do something until emergency help arrives. So we're gonna practice that. I'm gonna show you a video on how to do it, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna practice that. And it's so important. I don't know if you can see the screen. I see the red is kind of hard to see. But for every minute that goes by for somebody who's experiencing cardiac arrest, their chance of survival decreases by 10%. The average response time in Southeast Michigan is 7 to 11 minutes. We have 8 minutes. That means that if you don't do something while you're waiting for EMS to arrive for somebody in cardiac arrest, they have a 30% to a negative 10% chance of survival. So it's so important. The outcomes are so much better if you have somebody who is standing there and is willing to jump in and do something until emergency help arrives. And that's why I'm here, and hopefully you'll leave here feeling like you could do something until emergency help arrives. So we're gonna act now, and we're gonna look at that. The first thing that we wanna do is assess whether or not they need CPR, right? Are they breathing? Are they breathing normally? Are they responsive? We're gonna do all those things to decide, do we do CPR on this person? We're gonna assess that. Then we're gonna call 911, and then we're gonna start doing chest compressions and get an AED on somebody. I was super excited. Everywhere I go, I see AEDs, and I walked in, and I can tell you where the AED is when I walked in this building. It's around the corner right outside the nurse's office, which is awesome. But don't be afraid of AEDs too. I'm gonna show you how to use one. Okay, so let's watch. And then we're gonna get some chance to practice. So hopefully everybody had a good breakfast and has their muscles today.
I'm ready.
You're ready? All right. I might call you up for a demonstration then. My video did not come up. Hold on. Oh, there it is. We practiced making sure the video worked earlier, but sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. Can you hear it?
Yeah. More. It's this one.
Are you okay? Are you okay? You, call 911. You, get an AED.
This is a scene that plays out over 1,000 times every day in the United States. If you see or find an adult or teen who has collapsed, they could be in cardiac arrest, and you need to act now. Assess for any signs of movement or normal breathing. If the person has slow, deep gasps, this is not the same as breathing. Call 911 or direct someone to call. Treat. Press hard and fast on the center of the chest. Place the heel of your dominant hand directly on the center of the chest and interlock the fingers of your other hand. Keep your arms straight and lean over the victim, using your body to compress the chest. Push down hard. You need to compress the chest at least 2 inches and push 2 times every second or 120 times per minute. Allow the chest to recoil completely with each compression. If the victim is on a soft surface, like a bed or a couch, move them to the ground before beginning compressions. You may have heard in the past that you must do mouth-to-mouth ventilation. Mouth-to-mouth is not needed for adults or teens and could be harmful. Perform chest compressions only. However, mouth-to-mouth is needed for young children and infants. While performing chest compressions, direct someone close by to get an AED. The AED, or automated external defibrillator, is the only thing that will shock the victim's heart back into normal function. When the AED arrives to the victim, simply turn it on and follow the voice-guided instructions.
Unit, okay. Stay calm. Check RESA responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's ear chest. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Shock advised. Don't touch patient. Press flashing shock button. Shock delivered. Start CPR.
The AED will only deliver a shock to someone who needs it, so do not be afraid to put it on anyone who is unconscious. Now that you know how to act, let's watch this again.
You okay? Are you okay? You, call 911. You, get an AED.
Keep your arms straight and lean over the victim, using your body to compress the chest. Push down hard. You need to compress the chest at least 2 inches and push 2 times every second, or 120 times per minute.
Unit okay. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's ear chest. Don't touch patient. Analyzing. Shock advised. Press flashing shock button. Shock delivered. Start CPR.
In many instances, an ambulance or other medical professional can be 5 to 10 minutes away or more. Continue chest compressions while rotating compressors every 2 minutes until help arrives, and continue to follow the instructions of the AED or 911 dispatcher. You be the hero. Teach your friends and family to act now.
That doesn't seem too hard, does it? No? So I'm gonna go through the steps first, and we're gonna practice in just a minute. So the first thing that we do, whenever we have any emergency, first aid, we wanna make sure that it's safe for us to provide CPR or any first aid or any care, because we don't wanna become another victim. So I always look around, make sure you're not running on 75 with traffic, and you could, become another victim. Or if it's a situation where it's not safe for you to do CPR, if you can drag that person to where it can be safe to do so, then you would want to make sure that it's safe first, that you're safe to do the care that you need. And then we want to check and see if the person is responsive. So we would tap and shout and say, hey, are you okay? If they're not blinking, if they're not looking at you after you do that, that's not responsive, right? So if they're not responsive, then we're going to advise somebody to call 911. We want help right away. If you have a cell phone, pull it out, call 911 on your speakerphone, and just set it down, and then we're going to get to the next steps. But if there's other people around, you would just look at them. Everybody wants to help in an emergency, but nobody knows what to do. So you have to be very specific and say, you go get the AED, you call 911. Point and shout. That's the only time that we would say pointing is okay, because you want somebody to know exactly what you need. I need you to get the AED. Can you call 911? Okay? So you want help on the way.
Some people froze in this situation.
Some people freeze.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll hear my voice and you won't be anybody who freezes now, because you can do something, and doing something is always better than doing nothing. Don't be afraid to get in trouble. We have laws that protect us that say if something goes bad, and we tried our best, we weren't intentionally trying to cause harm. We have laws that say if you're a good Samaritan, if you're trying to help, and even if there are negative consequences, then at least we did our best to try to do something. And I say do something. If you don't remember everything that we're going to practice today, at least do something. Something is always better than nothing, and letting somebody there die. And it's a very helpless situation. Some people do freeze, but hopefully this will get you to the point where you won't, and it will push you past that fear, that stress, that cortisol that has you either flight, or or freeze, and you'll be a person who can fight and say, I'm gonna fight through whatever fears I have so I can help this person standing here. So we've checked responsiveness, we've made sure it's safe for us to provide care. The next thing we're gonna do, so we called help, you are getting the AED, you're calling 911, is that we're gonna scan the chest and see if they're breathing. The first time I ever had to do CPR was before I was like a trainer and certified, and it was scary. And I remember them doing something called agonal breathing. That is not normal breathing. So we're gonna look and see if they're breathing, if it's normal breathing. If they're only gasping, and I can tell you to the day what agonal breathing looks like. It's usually like this. That's usually what happens before somebody completely goes. So that's not normal breathing. So if they're not breathing or not breathing normally, just gasping, we're gonna start CPR. And we start CPR by pushing hard and fast in the center of the chest. We don't wanna go too close to the bottom of their rib cage. We kind of just say right in the middle of their chest, lock your arms and your elbows. You get on your knees, we're gonna move them to the floor, right, on a hard surface. If we can get them down on the ground, for smaller people, we might use a table. For a baby, we could use a table. But for an adult, get them down on the ground on a firm, flat surface. If they're on a couch, it might be that if you push, all the force is gonna go into the couch cushion. Drag them off the couch or out of the bed, get them on the floor, lock your elbows, and you're gonna push hard and fast. Do you remember what rate they said, how fast you should be pushing?
2 per second.
2 per second. So it's about 100 to 120. Yep. So about 120. Don't be afraid to push too hard. Most people don't push hard enough. Remember, we're pushing through a rib cage. We are doing the work of that heart to get that heart pumping blood through the body. So we want to push hard and fast. How many of you know the song Staying Alive? Anybody know the song? How about, I know there's a U of M person back here. How many of you know the U of M fight song? Anybody know the U of M fight song? Oh, I gotta think. There's a whole playlist. Look, if you Google playlist for CPR, find your favorite song on there because it's do 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 do. You can hear me sing the fight song. My daughter just started it too, so that's about how fast you're gonna push. Okay.
To sing how the song. I teach my kids sing Happy Birthday one day.
Oh yeah, and we teach the song "Staying Alive." Staying alive. Nobody knows that song. So that's actually, you know that song? Yeah, you can hear me now. You can hear me singing. So listen to Vanessa's voice when you're trying. If you have to do this, hear my voice. Da 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 da. That's how fast you're gonna push. That's not too hard, right? No.
I thought it was some effort to take my.
It does take effort. You're pushing through a chest, but don't be afraid to push hard, okay? And you do want that chest to come back up. Did you see every time I pushed, I wasn't pushing and pushing. I pushed and let it bounce back up to refill the heart with blood. Push, let it refill. But I'm doing it fast, okay? It's a workout. I like to tell the story of my mom who retired from nursing. Her last year of nursing, she had to do CPR for somebody who wasn't her patient, and she did it for 10 minutes. And she's 65, so I'm like, if my 65-year-old mom can compress a chest, we're gonna have adrenaline, we're gonna be pumping, you're gonna hear my voice singing, and you're gonna just get in there and you're gonna do it, okay? And if you're with somebody who knows how to do CPR, take turns, okay? So let's go ahead. We're gonna practice those steps. So I need everybody to stand up. Bring your mannequin to where you're comfortable. You can do it on the table if you need to clear the way. Get to work. This is a workout. This is our 10 minutes of exercise today, right? There's more mannequins. If somebody doesn't have a mannequin, there's a couple more down here. ready? Before we get started, does everybody have a mannequin? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is make sure it's safe, right? So we wanna look around and we're gonna say it's safe. Seen is safe, right? Next thing we're gonna do, tap and shout, hey, hey, are you okay? Tap your mannequin and say, hey, hey, are you okay? Okay, they're not responding. So now I want you to point and shout, you call 911. You get the AED. Go ahead, point. You can be rude. Okay, and we're gonna look for breathing. We don't see breathing. So go ahead and let's count, or let's go ahead, let's count while we're pushing, just so I can see how fast you're pushing. Okay, ready? And lock your elbows, hands in the center of their chest. I like to have my hand like this in the palm of my hand, pushing hard. Yep, right here. And go ahead. Let's see, push hard and fast.
Yep, you got it. Straighten your arms like this.
Oh, I hear the clicking. If you hear clicking, that's really good. Hard and fast. Little faster. Little faster. If you, that one might have. Oh, there you go. Okay, I think everybody did a really good job. I saw some. I think you did. That's good. And that's all you that's all any of us can do. And I think you did a good job. All right. We have one more thing that we're going to get to. So if everybody wants to take their mannequins that they've saved, everybody did a really good job. Okay, I see we saved everybody. Let's get back now to the side. Everybody's safe. Everybody's safe. All right, I saw some really good chest compressions. That's not too hard. It's a workout, which is why if there's somebody else there, switching off every 2 minutes. But remember, we're going to have adrenaline pumping, right? This is a time where cortisol levels should go up, and we're going to fight through it, and we're going to do chest compressions. The last thing that we're going to talk really quickly about is using an AED. AEDs save lives. We want to get an AED on somebody in cardiac arrest within the first 3 to 5 minutes. That increases chance of survival by 95% if you can get an AED on somebody. So that's the next step. We would do chest compressions, and then somebody arrives with the AED. You can use, these are made for anybody. Anybody can use an AED. They're at Costco. They're on the walls of schools now. It's going to be a law that every school has an AED at their school starting next year because they're so important. So when you do it, you want to turn it on and follow the prompts. That is the basic of any type of AED. If you've never seen that one, never opened one in the world, you want to turn it on and listen to it. So I'm going to turn this on so you can hear what it does.
Remove clothing from the patient's chest.
So we can do chest compressions through the clothes. But if we get this is when we're taking the shirt off.
Apply pads.
It's going to keep telling me to do this next step until I do what it wants me to do.
Open packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
So we were doing CPR. I got the chest bare. It's telling me to put the pads on. I don't know where the pads go. So I'm going to look at this picture and say, this pad looks like it goes on the picture. See, there's pictures of where to put them.
Open packet.
Stick it down.
Firmly on skin.
And then stick it down.
Apply pads.
And it tells me exactly where to put them.
Skin.
Okay.
Do not touch the patient.
Don't touch them. This is when you stop doing chest compressions, which is really hard to do because our adrenaline's pumping and we're not going to want to stop. But we want this to tell us. See, it says don't touch. Before I do anything, I'm going to look and make sure nobody's touching, that my lanyard is not leaning on this person when I go to push the button. I want to look that person up and down and say nothing is touching, and I say clear, put your hands up. Anybody else around me, I would want to see their hands. And it's going to tell me to push that shock button until I do. So I shock them. Oh, I didn't do it fast enough. So now it's going to analyze. So I'm waiting. And that's okay because your hands are going to be shaking. You're going to be nervous. We're just going to keep listening to this. Clear. Hands up. Push the button. and then we go back to doing our CPR. Right back to CPR. Okay? And listen, it even tells me how fast to push, so I don't have to sing anymore. So you're just gonna do this, and every 2 minutes, it will say, stand clear, analyzing heart rhythm. So if that person doesn't become responsive with that first shock, we do CPR, and then every 2 minutes, it'll say, stand clear, analyzing heart rhythm. So we stop CPR, we listen to the machine, and it tells us what to do, okay? And it will tell us, the pictures are very helpful. I've opened up AEDs that I've never been trained on before, and they're made so that anybody can use them. Yes.
How long does it keep, like analyzing and putting the electricity through?
Until you turn it off. It's not putting electricity on until you push the button.
The button, yeah.
Yep, once you push the button,
I mean, it'll keep going until.
and then
tells-
in 2 minutes, yep, it'll keep going. So if you call 911, you leave these pads on until 911 comes. Keep doing CPR. If the person becomes responsive, we've done our shock, we've done our job, we saved this person, we would leave the pads on, turn them to the side and let them rest on their side. And then if they go back into becoming unresponsive again, we would turn them back on their back and start CPR, and this will keep on cycling. So we're gonna just leave this on. It might say continue CPR and the person's coughing and talking to you. So we would just stop doing the chest compressions. But in 2 minutes, say, yep, it'll keep analyzing. And not all rhythms are shockable. So if that person's heart was shocked back into a normal rhythm and say they're still not responsive, we're gonna keep doing CPR. And in 2 minutes, maybe it gave us one shock, but 2 minutes later, the heart is beating, but it's maybe not beating enough for that person to become responsive. We're gonna keep beating that heart for them. And then it'll say analyzing heart rhythm, and it would say no shock advised. Continue CPR. So you just keep doing CPR. You keep doing the chest compressions if they're not responsive. Okay. Any questions on using an AED? There are a couple other things I'm just going to point out on AEDs, but don't be afraid of them. I used to be afraid of them. They're scary. It's scary to save somebody, but they're made so that anybody can use them. They're super simple. They will walk you through every step, and they all have pictures. So find the pads and you put them on. Did you have a question?
Can you use it on children?
You can use it on children, and that is actually my next slide I was going to talk about. There are some considerations. If it's a bigger kid, we can do one up here, one down here, as long as they're not touching. If it's a small child, we can use an adult pad. We would put one on the front and one on their back. Yeah, because what happens is the shock goes through the heart to the other pad, or through the heart to the other pad. So usually like your kindergartners, first graders, toddlers, we have to do one on the front, one on the back. Once they reach about 8 years old, they're considered adults, so we would do everything the same. I know in the video they said something about kids need breaths, and that's true. For a kid, we want to get their oxygen back up, because it's usually not like a circulatory problem that caused them to have their heart stop. You can still push hard and fast on their chest though. If you have not been certified in doing breaths, then go ahead. Do the chest compressions, get that AED on that person, even a child or an infant. I did bring my baby. I'm not going to show you everything with it, but I do like to show babies. Because again, your pads wouldn't fit, but you can put one on the front and one on the back. It doesn't matter which one. Okay? And for an infant, anybody less than 1 year old, the difference between chest compressions is their chest is little, so we're going to push hard with 2 fingers. Okay? Push hard with 2 fingers. And you asked a very good question. Do we need to worry about hurting somebody's rib cage or hurting them when we're doing CPR? What is the thought? To save them is better. If they need CPR, I don't care, break my ribs. That's okay. If you, in some places they say if you don't break ribs, you're not pushing hard enough. So don't be afraid. You're not going to hurt them any worse than they already are, right? So don't be afraid. Again, do something. It's always better than doing nothing. And for a baby, again, you push hard in the center of their chest. And their pads might not fit. And even toddlers, you might have to put one on the front, one on the back. Some units have pediatric pads, If you can figure out how to reattach the pediatric pads or switch it over, then do that, but don't waste too much time. You can use an adult pad on anybody, okay? Yep. So this is the last thing. Any questions? I had some really good questions. But it is time for us to move to blood pressure screenings. If you have questions that pop up, I'm Vanessa Long again, so you can feel free to contact me or contact your nurse, and they can always reach me. But I really want to thank you for spending time today to do this. We will have the nutritionist talk after. I think, are we doing the blood pressure screenings right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrapping everything.
Okay, let's go ahead. We can.
She can do her presentation while you take.
Yeah. So why don't we take? Because I can help take blood pressures too.
We'll do 3 and 3 lining up, and then 1 on each end.
Okay, so how about this front table, if you want to go back? To either, the first two can sit at one table each. And then you all can sit back there, and then she's gonna move on to doing the nutrition talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in your folder, yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, good morning. So this is Ms. Shihazi. Probably most of you know me by now. I'm the school nutritionist. We covered the medical part of strokes, heart health. I'm gonna cover the nutrition part. Okay. Remember, prevention is more important. We don't want to do all this. We want to prevent it.
Microphone, Rory.
So as I said, we covered the medical portion of the subject. I'm going to cover the nutritional one. As you know, prevention is very important because our heart health, our vessels, our arteries, our vein, all of this depends on our lifestyle, our food, and our diet, what we consume, what we avoid consuming. So هلا انا رح احكي بالعربي، رح احاول غطي هلا التغذيه، بارت التغذيه، صحه القلب والشرايين والاوعيه الدمويه كثير بتعتمد على نظام حياتنا، الاكل، الرياضه، الستريس، كيف فينا نبعد عن هالاشياء، كيف فينا نتفادى الاكل الغير صحي، وكيف فينا ناكل الاشياء الصحيه. القلب والشرايين برجع بعيد، الاكل كثير بيأثر على صحتهم، كثير مهم نعرف شو ناكل لانه كثير بيساعدنا لبعدين نحافظ على قلبنا. الدراسات بتختلف من سنة لسنة عم يكتشفوا اشياء جديدة، عم بغيروا اشياء قديمة. هلا I'm gonna cover it. عندي على الباك تيبل samples لافوكادو اويل. I'm gonna cover it. وفي overnight oats healthy snack. Try it. It's healthy. فيها fibers. فيها fruits, antioxidants. فيها شوية honey, anti-inflammatory. So كتير صحية. جربوها وإذا عجبتكم I'll post the recipe. So أول شيء مثل ما قالت first we have to control the cholesterol level. So في two cholesterol في the LDL and the HDL. كيف فينا نعلي ال HDL اللي هو ال good cholesterol ونوطي ال LDL اللي هو ال bad cholesterol. So ال bad cholesterol بيجي من ال high cholesterol food like الأكل الغير صحي مثل الزيوت المهدرجة، الأكل اللي كتير عالي بالفات، مثل اللحمة الحمراء اللي كتير فيها دهن، المقالي، الزيت على حرارة عالية ممكن يتأكسد، كل البروسيسد فود، الدوناتس، الكوكيز اللي بنطعميهم لأولادنا كلهم هيدول فيهم bad fats. So I'm gonna cover it in English. So there's two types of cholesterol, the LDL and the HDL. The HDL is the good fat that we need to consume in order to keep our heart and vessels healthy. The bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, we have to prevent. And it's easy to do so. It's found in very fatty red meat, processed food, fried food, deep fried food specifically. Other examples, everything we buy, like the cookies, the stuff, the chips, all these have very high amount of bad fats. All of that can increase the LDL fats. So that's why it's important to do the balance. In order to maintain healthy the good cholesterol, it's good to consume the good fatty oils like olive oils, avocado oil. This avocado is new in the market. It's proven it's very safe to cook, even on a high heat. We can use it for deep frying. We can use it for, it's the safest option with olive oil for now to do the deep frying. I know research have changed. Before they told us canola oil, all type of oils are good, but now it changed. More research has done that the balance in canola oil, the omega-3 and the omega-6, when it's when we heat it or when we boil that oil, this can let's say damage the balance, and it can cause inflammation and very bad health risks. So fibers, that's why I make the overnight oats. Fibers is very healthy for us. It's very good for the heart. The more fibers we eat each meal, it helps our body to maintain a good weight, a good blood sugar. So for example, you like to have your tea in the morning, try to have some vegetables with it, not fruits. I'm gonna cover that. Vegetables, some fibers, even like oats. For example, add spinach to your eggs. Fibers will help your body to absorb a little bit less sugar. It can help our blood sugar in entire way. Even if you feel like you want to have a treat in the morning, try to balance it with some fibers first. This way you can prevent your body from absorbing all the sugar in that treat. So كنت عم أقول إنه الكتير مهم الفايبر، الألياف بالأكل. الألياف كتير لها أهمية لصحة القلب. لما بناكل ألياف مع كل وجبة غذائية، هيدا الشيء بخلي يعني امتصاص السكر أقل وبخلينا نحس بالشبع، عشان هيك كتير منيح لصحة القلب. سو جربوا كل وجبة دخلوا شيء فيه فايبر. في كتير أكل يعني سهل نلاقيه فيه فايبرز. في اوتس، فينا نجيب السيريال حتى لأولادنا جيبوا less sugar, whole grain, multi-grain. And I explained to the kids على multi-grain versus the refined food. I gave them samples for the toast to try that. It's not a big difference of the taste. You're getting the benefits while it has the same good taste. بلا الشوفان كتير منيح. It's very healthy. Oats, but remember it's high in calories, so we have to watch the portion. Okay, yes. So try to manage the portion to get the benefits. Because everything, even if it's healthy, especially the good fats, are very, very high in calories. So try to balance the amount to get the benefits, right? So even fibers can lower the LDL cholesterol I was talking about earlier. And I said there is fibers in oats, beets, fruits, and beans, fruits and vegetables. So regulate blood pressure. أكيد ضغط الدم. It's very important to maintain a good blood pressure. كمان blood pressure food can affect them. Try to consume low salt meal. Like try to maybe decrease your salt intake slowly so you don't feel like a big difference. If you like salty meals or salty food, try to decrease it in order to control the salt in your blood. And salt has a big effect on blood pressure. Also increase the potassium. We always say potassium is very good. Bananas are very good at maintain and or regulate the blood pressure to balance the minerals between the salt and the potassium. مثل ما قلت برجع بقول انه منيح كثير ان نحن ناخذ يعني نعمل توازن بالاملاح بجسمنا. مثل مثلا الموز نعلي كميه الاكل اللي موجود فيه بوتاسيوم، الخضروات يوجوالي البينز فيهم بوتاسيوم، ونخفف الاملاح اللي هي صوديوم اللي بنزيدها على الاكل، ملح الطعام. في اكل مثلا مش بحاجه نحن نملحه مثل البندوره. اكيد اول فتره رح تلاحظوا في فرق بالنكهه، خصوصا اذا معودين تزيدوا كميه كبيره من الملح على الاكل. بس شوي شوي بتتعودوا على هذا الشيء، بتبطلوا تحسوا انه الاكل ناقصه ملح. وزيدوا بهارات. البهارات very very healthy. The black pepper, red pepper, white pepper, turmeric, very healthy. هودي very high in antioxidant. يعني كل اكل يجربوا رز، زيدوا لها turmeric، زيدوا لها black pepper. Very healthy and very important for antioxidant oxidation in the body. So بدنا نحكي هلا عن الانتي اوكسيدنتس اللي هن كمان اوميجا 3 واوميجا 6. هول موجودين بالجود فات وانا I covered it. These are very important for heart health. Very very important. لانه we can sometimes have it as a supplement. If you ever take the omega as a supplement, they are found in salmon. فينا ناخذهم من الفيش. We don't have to have it in a supplement. They have it in salmon, fish, good fats, nuts. الحلو فيهم انه هيدول عندهم انتي اوكسيدنت بروبرتيز كمان. لو كيف بجسمنا في هيدول اسمهم فري راديكلز، هن مثل اشياء كيميكال بالجسم مش منيحه للجسم، بتخلينا نمرض، بتخلينا يصير عندنا انفلاميشن يعني نورم. يعني لما بتحسوا مرات بتفيقوا الصبح مفاصلكم مورمه، جسمكم عم يوجعكم، فكروا مرات بتكونوا ماكلين سالت قبل بيوم or probably قبل بيوم you consumed unhealthy diet, maybe قبل بيوم خبصتوا بالاكل، بتلاحظوا ثاني يوم انه مفاصلكم عم توجع وتقال ايديكم، بتلاحظوا that means your body is inflamed. So الانتي-oxidant, look how they attach to the free radicals اللي بقلب الجسم, they attach to it and they neutralize it. So بيقيموهم. That's why it's very important for us to have antioxidant food or meals each day to balance and take away all these radicals. Yes.
بس كنت اقول لك شيء، يعني بستعمل البينك، الملح اللي لونه بينك، هذا قلي.
Yeah. بس كمان بيعلي الصوت.
اقل ملوحه.
ايه بس كمان بس it's a healthier option. بس الملح اللي فيه كمان it's good. This is the thing.
بس هو انه احسن الابيض والغالي.
Balance both. So try not to use the pink كتير, not to use the white clear. Try to balance. But that's what I mean. That's why it's important to use the regular salt too, not only the pink salt, the Himalayan salt. لأنه أنا, you know what I do? I add to the food the white salt that we use, and then I use on the table the pink salt. You can't do that. عرفتي؟ So إذا حدا زاد salt, it's not that bad. You're adding it, but you're getting both. It's important to get both salts. Yeah, because now you messed up the portion. Yeah, that's a good question. So maintain a healthy weight. أكيد maintain a healthy weight, especially this area where all the organs are. We want to keep this area as skinny as possible, just for the health of our heart, stomach, في هون liver, في all the important organs, the heart, the lungs. So it's important to maintain a healthy weight. And we can do this by watching the calorie intake, maybe work out more, walk more so you can get more calories in. For our kids too, I know it's hard to manage the calories for our kids. Try just to make them more active. Please, I emphasize, don't stress your kids about this. I know we want to keep our kids healthy. Body figure and body weight is very sensitive subject these days. Try to focus on the positives. Don't mention the negatives. Like, tell them you'll be stronger if you eat healthy. You're not gonna be skinnier, or you're gonna have more fat. Stronger. You'll feel better. You're gonna be happier. You're gonna feel like you have more energy. Try to use the positive comments rather than the negative comments. So, in order to maintain a healthy weight, we can use smaller plates. We can add healthy snacks. Don't bring unhealthy snacks home. That's what I do. My kids love ice cream. I take them to eat ice cream once a week. It's easier to take them out for a treat rather than bringing the treats home. Because if you have something at home, they're hungry, they're just gonna get like an easy snack and fill, and eat it. So it's a good idea just when you wanna treat them, take them outside. Even if you buy them, for example, a whole box of ice cream, tell them, okay, we're gonna go get a box of ice cream, we're gonna eat it all together, and that's it. Don't bring it home, okay? Don't bring 3-4 boxes of cookies, 3 or 4 boxes of ice cream, because that relates to to gaining weight and more fat in this area, especially for kids. Okay, also add vegetables. Try to add vegetables. If you're making anything, blend it in the soup, blend it in the stews, blend it in anything. We don't have to eat salad in order to get our vegetables, okay? We have the idea we need to eat salad, we need to eat the raw vegetables. No, we can add it, we can blend it. I usually blend, for example, onions, carrots in my soup. I usually also blend these in my stews, and the liquid in the stew, I usually blend it. So it's important to add the vegetables, and because it has fibers, it's rich in vitamins B, which are good for our body, and it also has some antioxidant properties. It's very good to have it. Try to include it. This way, when your kids, like I said, they're eating a meal, they're eating some rice, some spaghetti, some noodles, and you're having the vegetables, this will balance the sugar intake. That will probably manage their weight better, okay? Also be active, like I said, to burn more calories. The more active we are, the more we can eat. That's what I tell my kids. When I have more snacks, you have to be more active, okay? It doesn't have to be very hard. Walking around, go to the mall, don't shop, just walk around. Window shopping. Just be active, okay? So regulate sugar intake. That's a very important too for our heart health. Our heart and sugar are very attached. If you notice, sometimes I always tell the kids, sugar can affect our heart, how fast our heart can beat, weight gain. I don't know if you ever notice, if you have a very high sugary snack, if you feel your heart rate is very fast, or you feel like your heart is beating very fast. إذا تاكلوا سكر مرات بتحسوا بصير قلبكم يدق بسرعة. مش منيح لأنه
الواحد ليه بس يكون جوعان ما بيجي على باله ياكل حلو.
لأنه بيكون نازل السكر بدك تعلي. ومش ضروري تعلي السكر. So she's asking why when you're hungry you crave more sweet things rather than salty things. Because your blood sugar is low now. Your body is telling you we need to higher it, but we don't need to spike it. So higher the blood sugar, eat a small sugary treat, like fruits. Fruits is high in sugar. be careful for sugar too, because sugar is high in sugar. Fruits is high in sugar. That's why we have to limit it too. Especially grapes, figs. These are very, very high in sugar. Yes. Mhm.
كمان بدي اسالك طب ليش اللي بيكون ضغطهم واطي كمان بصيروا بده ياكلوا حلو مش موالح رغم انه الضغط الواطي لازم ياكل شيء مالح حتى على ضغطه صح؟
Yeah. لأنه بيكون في a mineral imbalance يعني الشجر مع السalt. That's how your body translates it. But usually when your blood is حتى when your
لا هو بيكون لو
when your blood the pressure is low كمان it's not good to have a lot of salt. You're gonna spike it. When something is low you don't want to spike it.
شو اللي بيساعد لما يكون الضغط واطي
But technically sugar and salt together. You have to balance it. But كمان it's not spiky. Maybe tomato and like for example strawberries. Or if you're out there is like exactly. Yeah, for example, date and nuts. This is a very good combination because nuts balance the sweet and the date. Nuts has fibers in it. Yeah, but don't eat a lot of sugar so you don't mess the balance. Eat a little bit of sweet. Think like a small sweet snack, like if like dark chocolate, for example. Keep dark chocolate, small like cubes of dark chocolate in your purse. Like the 75% and up doesn't have to be very bitter one, the 95%. You're welcome. Oh, and if you notice now in our day there is a trend of insulin resistance. I want to just go briefly into that. So what does it mean by being resistant or insulin resistance? We know that we have high blood sugar, low blood sugar, but so after we eat so many sweet treats, that's why I was telling you to limit that spike in the food or the sugar. When we consume a lot of like a sweet treats or ice cream, chips, our blood sugar will like keep spiking, coming down, spiking. This will make your body gives more insulin. You gonna the hormone insulin will be like more than you need in your body. It will have like a negative effect. You know how insulin usually regulate the blood sugar when your body keep making that insulin. You're having more sugar. Your body keep making that insulin. Your body will be resistant to it. So the more you're making now, it's not as effective as it was before. And insulin resistance is related to obesity, related to weight gain, to heart health, to hormonal change. It's very important. عشان هيك هرجع هيقلها بالعربي لانها كثير كثير مهمه. كثير مهم انه نخلي مستوى السكر بالجسم معتدل، لانه لما كثير بيطلع وكثير بينزل جسمك عم يفرز انسولين، عم يرجع يروح الانسولين، بيرجع بتعطي جسمك مور انسولين. هيدا الشيء عم بيخلينا انه جسمنا يتعود على هيدا الهرمون، بطل افكتيف، بطل يعمل مفعول، سو عم يفرز بعد لما بيصير الانسولين كثير بالجسم اكثر من ما لازم، هيدا الشيء بخلي جسمك كريف مور شوجر، بتصير بدك سكر بعد ما عم بكفي السكر اللي عم تاكليه، عم تنصحي، عم تعصبي، دقات القلب سريعه، more irritation، الاولاد بتبطل تركز. So in 10 minutes we're gonna do the raffle. Okay, stay here, don't leave. We have so many.
If you have, I'm taking these gifts.
Yeah, me too. Okay, these are general guidelines. I don't know if general guidelines. So stay hydrated. Water is very important. Make sure you're having your water, not your juice, not other type of drinks. Drink water. Be active. Walking, like I said, any activity, walking, doesn't have to be in the gym, even at home. Do strength training, increase your muscle mass, especially for us ladies after 35. We have to make sure that our muscle mass or our muscle in the body is maintained because we tend to lose muscle percentage over years. Strength training, like I said, do some weights, doesn't have to be complicated at home. Use your body weights, use small weights. reduce stress, try to walk, do yoga, maybe take a deep breath for 5 minutes every like couple hours. What other things? Do what makes you happy. Keep your mind busy. Listen to an audible, listen to music, get those breaks you need throughout the day. Riyada is very good. بتعلي endorphins. It's very important to do exercise. It increases the endorphins, and that will help our body reduce the stress, and it helps our mental health, and it helps us to be healthy and happy.
انا كثير بطلع امشي بس ما بحسن المود.
امشي أسرع, walk faster. Probably you're not walking as fast. To increase the mood and the endorphins, you have to raise your heartbeats. So try to raise your heartbeats. امشي أسرع أو كده, run. Maybe try running.
والله امبارح طلعت بيقولوا لي برد.
So avoid smoking, energy drinks. Please, parents, this is very important. No energy drink for our kids. Our kids don't need energy drinks, okay? I hear kids in 5th grade drink energy drinks. That's very dangerous for the heart. Very dangerous for kids to consume. Our heart or their kids' heart is not made to absorb this amount of caffeine and sugar and all these stimulants, okay? Please don't let them access any energy drink. Don't get them, don't let them buy, don't let them go to the gas station getting it. Very important. The more they're going to be dependent on stimulants or things to make them awake, that will increase them or for like future addiction, for like coffee, smoking, vaping, and other things. Try to make them, I always tell my kids, get your energy from the inside. Get your happiness from the inside. Don't depend on any external factors, okay? So that's about it. Any questions? Need me to answer? Yeah, I don't like energy drink even for older people. No. It's okay for older people. It's not as dangerous. But you know what's the problem? The problem sometimes we don't get enough sleeping. We're tired, and we're getting the energy drink. These come like if you're tired, you're masking that tiredness. يعني عم تشربي energy drink and you're tired, your body is confused now. That can cause, God forbid, strokes, blood problems, fast heartbeats. So if your body needs rest, your body is telling you, I need you to rest. Especially the ULA, they sleep 1 hour or 2 hours a night and then they have their energy drink. What they're doing, they're forcing their body to stay awake. They're forcing their heart to work harder, and that's not good. So it's more dangerous than we think, especially when they're tired and they rest and they're depending on it to get the energy. It's very dangerous. No, coffee is good because it's not as concentrated as energy drink. So if you drink your energy drink, usually has caffeine and sugar and other stimulants. They have some vitamins, they add minerals, they add stuff to it to give you that boost of energy.
Like a good drink?
No. Because the amount, coffee you mean or energy drink? Coffee, no. Coffee is good, but in limitation, 2 cups a day, or you're gonna have complications and the same problems as energy drink. So 2 cups a day. Try not to add sugar for your coffee. Try not to, because sugar and caffeine can increase the heartbeat, can increase the the blood pressure a little bit. Try to have a little sugar if you can, or like a creamer. I use half and half instead of what is it? The powder cream. Yeah, the coffee mate is not that good because it spikes the blood sugar. Half and half, not that much because it's milk. It's like milk with fat. So it's more like concentrated milk. Try to add it for your coffee. It's a good way to give it a little bit of sweet taste and a little bit of basic touch. Because usually the coffee is acidic. When you add half and half, you'll balance the acidity. It won't like damage. Yeah, it's the same. It's processed, very highly processed. Yeah. أحلى شيء add milk, almond milk, oat milk, a half and half. Other questions? Okay, don't forget to taste the overnight oats and get your avocado sample. Avocado oil is very good for cooking. Try to use it. I gave you a small bottle. Probably this will last you for like a couple of times. Yeah, it's good, and it doesn't have like a strange taste. It's like it has a very neutral taste. You won't even notice it. Coconut milk is very good. Yeah. Just try to get it, no sugar added. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for listening, for coming today.
What you've all been waiting for.
Did everybody enter the raffle? Everybody's good? We can start? Are we ready?
We're ready. Are we ready? Are you ready? Yes. I'm ready.
Okay, so Mrs. Vanessa is gonna pick the ticket and she's gonna read out the number, okay?
Okay.
Alright, for the magic bullet. So this is our first prize, okay?
Three, 6, 1, 2, 7, 1, 6. Or for you. This is for you. That you can't make something to choose from.
We need a picture, please. You stand in the middle. We need a picture. We gotta prove that we gave it to them.
Oh, with us?
Can you stand in the middle? I want to take a picture. Would you guys need to announce the winner? So.
Cheese.
1, 2. All right.
Thank you so much.
Congrats. Thank you, one.
Okay. Here we go. Get your tickets ready.
So the next prize is gonna be the little basket with all the little goodies.
Okay. I don't have reading glasses. This is something I need to start doing. 3, 6, 1, 2, 6, 9, 8. Last numbers. 6, 9, 8.
If they're not here, then we'll redraw. No?
Is it you?
Oh, it's you!
Are you trying to hide it from me? Okay. I'm sorry. Wow. Mabruk.
Alright, and for the final gift, it is a $200 gift card to the jewelry vault.
I think this one has my number on it. Okay. Ready?
Alright, are you ready?
3, 6, 1, 2, 6, 8, 8. You deserve this.
And she decorated everything, so they paid the money. Wow. Congratulations. One of our own. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you everyone for coming, and inshallah next year will be just as good. Make sure you guys get goodie bags and see the nutrition table for any of the sweets, okay?
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Noor International Academy in Sterling Heights at niapsa.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at starpsa.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at universalpsa.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ulapsa.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.